Crystal got a little distracted swinging on a tree branch. She was on her way to the dirt road to collect wildflowers for the dining room's centerpiece. Grandma was coming over for Sunday dinner. As Crystal was bending over, picking flowers, her eyes darted over to the other side of the road. She saw a beautiful white horse chewing on some grass. She ran over to the other side of the road to get a closer look at the horse. The noise from her shoes against the gravel made the creature stop eating and look up. Crystal was surprised to see a horn coming from its forehead. At second glance, it wasn't a horn at all, but an energy form coming out from the forehead. Oh my goodness, it was a unicorn! And where did it come from? Crystal looked around to find the owner of this beautiful creature. There, under an elm tree, stood a woodland elf. "Good morning, Crystal. My name is Urana, and my unicorn is Popa. We live in the village of Karamangail. I guess you're wondering what all of this is about. When you crossed the road, you came into our dimension of time and space. Legend has it that only an elf can ride the white unicorn. But if an earth child spots a white unicorn on the first spring morn, they could ride it that day. Looks like you're that spring child. Not only will you ride the unicorn, please join me in our grand spring festival." As the three made their way to the center of the village, everywhere people were preparing food. They spotted a family of gnomes with loaves of bread and plates of fruit. They even spotted a baker dwarf setting bread and butter down on a checkered tablecloth. The table was overflowing with all types of food, and they even had one of her favorites, tacos. Outside the supply house came Elmore, the mayor of the village, with a stern look on his face. He looked at the little group and sternly said, "Humans are not allowed during our festivals, and definitely no human rides the unicorn other than an elf." Urana spoke loudly for all to hear. "This child wandered into our dimension on the first spring morn, and it is her right to ride the white unicorn. I am requesting that this child be our guest at the grand spring festival. We must honor our ancestors' laws and legends." Everyone agreed. A little boy elf named Melvin grabbed Crystal's hand and led her to a nearby table to meet his mom, Morena. She was looking at the table, and a frown fell on her face. They forgot the greens. There would be no tossed salad without the greens. Morena made her request. "Children, gather the baskets and fetch me some dandelion greens." They both made it to the edge of the meadow, and they wanted the dandelions that grew across the bridge. Halfway over, they started horse-playing, and the baskets came down with a loud thump. The two were having so much fun laughing that they didn't notice who stood at the end of the bridge. "Stop!" came a growling voice. "Who travels over my bridge without permission?" At first, Crystal was taken back by the sudden appearance of a troll, and a grumpy one at that. Crystal spoke up. "Sir, We need to cross this bridge to fetch some dandelion greens for the grand spring festival." The Troll arrogantly replied, "You mean the grand spring festival held in Caramangile, the one that I am never invited to? I'm just an outcast in these parts. No one cares." Crystal felt sorry for the Troll and invited him to the grand spring festival. "Thank you, I will come to the festival," said Brole. "Excuse me for not introducing myself. My name is Brole." Off they went to the grand event. Everyone was eating and having fun, when all of a sudden an elf ran into the village, shouting excitedly, "Hey, everyone! Something strange is happening down by the orchard near the stream. I can't explain it, but come see for yourself." Elmore got there first and saw that it was winter time when it should be spring. Snowflakes were falling on the delicate cherry blossoms, and ice was forming in the stream. Elmore was trying to figure out what was causing this terrible problem, and he remembered Gustav, the wise old owl. He would have the answers. "As I see it, Elmore," said Gustav, "mankind is to blame. They're not taking care of the air, the water, and the land. Mainly, and sadly enough, the acts of war there are creating so much negativity that it's affecting our dimension over here. You need to go see Mother Nature. She'll know what to do." Elmore came up with a great plan. He would gather up a small group of special people, and he would send them to Mother Nature's house for help. First in command was Noazmi, the general of the elves. He would be the leader. He was the best swordsman and very level-headed. The captain of the elves, Sorrel, would be second in command. He was a valiant warrior and an excellent archman. Eamon, keeper of maps, would be placed in the forelines to navigate the group. Ivar came before Elmore, decked in full armor, carrying an axe and sword. Laughingly he announced, "I'm coming along with this group, since I know everything about the arsenal. I'll make sure everyone has the right equipment for their jobs." Ors, the storekeeper, handed out all the equipment to the little group. And Crystal would go to represent mankind, and Brole, because he was so large, he would be her protector. The little group set out on their mission to seek Mother Nature's help. Their first stop on the journey would be the mushroom forest. The only sounds the little group heard were the blackbirds fluttering up in the tree branches. Sorrel cautioned everyone not to disturb anything. That way no one would know they were even there. Accidentally, Crystal hit her sneakers against a purple mushroom. The entire patch of mushrooms shouted out so loud that the blackbirds flew off in every direction, making dreadful shrieking sounds, which made the forest goblins aware of their presence, and they weren't very happy about it either. As the little group turned the corner, there, waiting for them, were 3 4-foot goblins carrying Halloween walking sticks. Sordon, who carried a pumpkin stick, had no good thoughts for the travelers. Devlin, who had a ghost stick, was thinking malicious thoughts of magic spells. And Blackheart, the leader, had no intentions of showing the group mercy. He said to the travelers in an intimidating tone, "How dare you come into our forest without permission? Are you spies for the Black Witches of Stoneville? Ah, who cares? You are now our prisoners." Noazmi quickly stepped forward to answer Blackheart's questions. "We're not spies for the witches of Stoneville. We're on a mission to seek Mother Nature's help. Our dimension is being affected by planet Earth. It's spring in our dimension, and everything is just starting to grow. But it's turning into winter. If this doesn't stop, we're not going to have any food to eat. May we please finish traveling to Glacier Lake?" The group thought the goblins would let them pass. Blackheart quickly replied, "No, and I don't care what happens in your village." As Bro approached Blackheart, they recognized each other and both remembered that night on the bridge. Bro recalled long ago in the dead of the night, the goblins woke him up out of a deep sleep. They were in a hurry to reach the town of Stoneville to meet with the witch Sonata, and the bridge was the only shortcut. Bro met the goblins halfway over the bridge. He stopped them and demanded coins for a fee. The goblins were in so much of a hurry to search for coins that they promised him a future favor if he would just forget about the fee and let them ride on without any further delays. Bro knew they were a shady group, but they always kept their promises, and he thought that he might need a favor sometime in the future. "I need that favor you promised me long ago. We have to get down to Glacier Lake and continue to Mother Nature's house. Listen to me, whatever is happening in Karamangail will eventually happen in your forest as well. You have as much to lose as we do." Blackheart honored his promise and added, "Take along Sordon, my son. He can represent the mushroom forest." So off they went to Glacier Lake and the dreaded fire dragons. The little group made it safely to the edge of the lake, where they saw a little dragonfly. Noazmi asked him the whereabouts of the fire dragons. "They're far away and they won't be home for days." Everyone felt relieved that they wouldn't have to deal with the dragons. The lake looked inviting, so everyone jumped in except Sordon. He just sat under a tree while sad memories of the fire dragons ran through his head. It was one October day when he was just a little goblin. The dragons burnt down the east side of Mushroom Forest. After the adults put out the fire, they made it a law that no one would ever talk to the dragons again and were never to go near the lake. Fact was, the Black Witch, Sonata, was behind the ugly deed. On that dark night of long ago, the goblins refused to carry out Sonata's orders, and she wanted revenge on the entire village. She convinced the dragons to set the fire. She told them the goblins needed help in thinning the forest, and would they be neighborly and help out. In fact, the dragons, Shirlo and Boham, were expecting a thank you card, but none came, so they just went about their lives. Everyone left the lake and hiked out to Wolf Mountain. Out from a cave came a green-purple dragon. And if that wasn't bad enough, a green-blue dragon followed right behind. The group stopped dead in their tracks, and they looked up in pure fright. Shirlow and Boham started to laugh so loud they set the bushes on fire. Eamon stepped forward and told them the whole story about the weather and their mission to Mother Nature. You guys can go in peace. We have never harmed anyone. In fact, we're vegetarians. What? Sordin spoke loudly. You guys burnt part of our forest down. Oh, that. We found out from the local gossip. Sonata tricked us into burning your forest. It was her revenge for the goblins not following orders. It wasn't our fault. With that straightened out, Shirlow asked the group, "Would you like a snack before you go?" As she was serving hot cocoa and bread, she asked Boham to start a fire so she could finish baking her bread. Boham went with the group as far as Wolf Mountain. My friends, be careful. The shape-shifters live on that mountain, and they guard their territory very well. If you can convince them that you'll disturb nothing, they might let you cross over to the Valley of the Sun, where Mother Nature lives. Good luck. Eamon looked over his map. He shouted out directions. Look for a fork in the road and turn right. Left will only take us back to Glacier Lake. The group hiked up the dirt road, not noticing that a pair of wolves were aware of their presence. Eamon shouted out, "Hey, there's the fork in the road. Let's go over this hill. We're almost to the Valley of the Sun." Unbeknown to the group, the wolves made it to the fork in the road first, and they turned themselves back into humans. Tupaka and Owaka patiently awaited their arrival. To their shock and amazement, standing tall and in grand attire were the two shape-shifters blocking their way. Go no further. State the purpose of your presence here, and I'll decide if you can pass. Noazmi explained the problems back in the village and their urgent need to seek out Mother Nature's help. Tupaka spoke. The elves, dwarf, gnome, and the child can finish their journey to the Valley of the Sun. The troll and the goblin we do not like. They need to return where they came from. But, Eamon started to talk. Tupaka just continued with anger in his voice. I will not hear of any more crazy talk. The shape-shifters turned back into wolves and started to attack Sordin and Bro. The others ran down the path to the valley below. At the same time, Shirlow and Boham were flying over Wolf Mountain to check up on the travelers. The dragons spotted the group as they waved and shouted for help. Quickly, Shirlow and Boham took off to find Sordin and Bro. The two dragons flew down and scooped up the frightened troll and goblin and placed them both firmly on the ground in the Valley of the Sun. Everyone was ecstatic to be reunited, and they continued onwards. Hey guys, is that Mother Nature's house over there? Piped up Sorrel. Eamon checked his map. Yes, it is. There was no answer at the front door. Ivar called out, I hear noises in the backyard. And off they all ran to the back of the yard. There was Mother Nature collecting vegetables from her garden. We need your help real bad," said Crystal. "Well, come on inside. I'm just finishing my cheese broccoli soup, and we'll talk about it." Mother Nature spotted Sakar, the shapeshifter wolf, on top of the hill. "Come on with us. Make sure you change back into your human form. We don't want to upset our guest. Come have some soup." "Food will be ready in a jiffy," said Mother Nature as she passed out the soup bowls to everybody at the table. As the group ate, they explained everything to her, and Gustav, the owl, said, "You would have the answers to our problems." "Well, let's go outside. I need a lot of room. I need to call upon my children, the elementals, to adjust the weather patterns back to normal." She stretched out her arms and summoned her children. "Air, water, fire, and earth, come forth to me and hear my request. I'm asking you to put the seasons back to its divine order." The elementals loved their mother, and they quickly sprung into action. Fire melted the ice on the stream and warmed the cold air. Earth softened it with its warmth. Air pushed the water down the stream, and the water rushed to the tender vegetables and moistened their roots. In a minute the cherry blossoms opened their petals to the warm spring air, and the veggies took a long drink from the flowing water. Everything was as it should be on a fine spring morning. The little group thanked Mother Nature and decided to return home, since everything was back to normal. But what to do with Crystal? Mother Nature suggested that one of the dragons fly her back to the vortex. So she summoned Shirlo to return Crystal home. As they all said their goodbyes, they heard Mother Nature say, "Now that things are back to normal, I ask one thing from all mortals. Respect yourselves and the earth too, and in return, she will love and nurture you. Remember this, you're only temporary guest on Mother Earth." Arriving at the dirt road, Crystal thanked Shirlo, and to her surprise, the dragon just faded away. She picked up her flowers from earlier and glanced down at her wristwatch. Only 5 minutes had passed. As Crystal ran up to her farmhouse, memories of Karam and Guile faded away with new thoughts of Grandma's visit and a delicious dinner of roast beef and homemade apple pie. The end.